I believe that one of the main reasons why Canelo will not fight David Benavidez, this is just my opinion, is because we know Canelo is from Mexico and he still resides in Mexico. We know that David Benavidez, strength and conditioning coach, you've never heard this nowhere else. That's why I'm glad you're here. Memo Heredia, the strength and conditioning coach of David Benavidez, is in David Benavidez's camp. And he's been in his camp for several fights. If y'all don't recall who he is and how his name starts swirling around the boxing world many, many years ago, is because obviously he also, just like Victor Conti, he also was caught dealing PEDs and steroids in sports, in cycling with the Olympics. In fact, I had Tim Montgomery on this channel. I interviewed him. If some of you were here, y'all remember, Tim Montgomery confirmed that the first supplier that he had that approached him was Memo Heredia before he went to Victor Conti. Okay, and of course we know Victor Conti and Memo Heredia are not fans of each other. They actually don't like each other, and they do hate each other from what we all know, how they go back and forth on social media, or how they used to go back and forth on social media. But remember, back in February of a year ago, Victor Conti tweeted, and remember I did a reaction of it right here live in living color on this channel, where Victor Conti said that most cheaters, let me quote him right, he says smart cheaters know how to circumvent the test. He said, if y'all remember, he said RL3, right, is a powerful drug. It's undetectable. And he says Memo Heredia has basically a history of still, to this day, supplying undetectable steroids and PEDs in boxing. When Victor Conti was here, I have the footage. If anybody don't believe me, and I will roll the tape if I have to. Victor Conti was here the first time. He was here twice. The first time I interviewed Victor Conti live in living color, most of y'all in the chat was here. There was a super chat that came up. Victor Conti answered the super chat. The super chat was, do you think that Memo Heredia is still cheating in boxing? And Victor Conti said, absolutely yes. And so the reason why I'm bringing up Memo Heredia is because obviously he's still in the camp of David Benavidez. And I believe that Canelo Alvarez is highly suspicious of Benavidez because of his association with Memo Heredia. Memo Heredia is from Mexico, and he might still reside in Mexico. I'm not sure if he's in California, but I do know that he's from Mexico. Canelo's from Mexico. They know what's going on in Mexico. And speaking of Mexico, this is another reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. We know this, not just from Victor Conti, but we've seen countless documentaries. You can go fact check me on YouTube anywhere, that there are performance enhancement drugs that are legal to purchase in Mexico, even over the counter, including EPO. So what I'm saying is, I believe that it is the suspicion of Canelo. That's just my opinion. Now, I don't think he's scared of Benavidez. He might be ducking him because of that. I don't know. I don't see any indications. I do see more indications of him not believing that he'll generate more money to fight Benavidez, because Benavidez is still, green in the business. But the thing I'll tell Canelo, Benavidez headlined his own pay-per-view. Now, of course, he's not doing Canelo's numbers. He only had one pay-per-view, and he's fought against Andre, who's not, worldly recognized. But bottom line is, Benavidez is building a name for himself. So I do hope at some point that if Canelo going to stay in the game, I hear what Canelo's saying, and even my opinion of Canelo not fighting him because of his suspicion of Memo, you're going to have to fight him one day. And I think you should fight him at least after this fight, Canelo. Fight this young man after this. We know that Berlanga represents the Puerto Rican culture, because I believe he's Puerto Rican. And when Puerto Ricans and Mexicans fight, it's a big event, and it's a money grab for both fighters and all parties involved. And that's why I'm glad that PBC, which they're smart, put Danny Garcia as a Puerto Rican on the card as the co-main event, because this is how you galvanize a community of people to support their own and basically come out to the fight and buy the tickets and the pay-per-view. This is just good classic business. Okay, and then Danny Garcia is fighting against someone who's representing his culture. I believe Anthony Laura he's from Cuba, right? He's Cuban American. He's Cuban, right? So this is awesome. That's an awesome thing. You got 4 fighters, world champions. Berlanga, not a world champion, but all 3 of those other guys, they're world champions and former world champions. You know what I mean? So that's good business. You know, that's really, really good business. Let's see who else we got in here. I understand that. My man said that. Andre Noble. Yeah. We got a new audience coming in. What? Time out. This is why I love the super chat. I keep saying super chat. Can I get a super chat from somebody? I just keep inadvertently saying the word super. Super chat. I meant to say in the chat. Big Supreme says in the chat, Berlanga is being trained by Memo Heredia too? Oh, man. I don't know if that's true or not, but I take Big Supreme word. He never steered us wrong at all, since he's always in the chat giving knowledge to the people. You sure about that, Big Supreme? Because I'm going to do my research. Excuse me. I'm going to do my research on that. Berlanga is being trained by Memo too? Well, I guess that just dispelled whatever I thought. I thought Canelo, if that's true, I thought Canelo wasn't fighting Benavidez because he just knew, you know, that something like looked fishy over there. I don't know. But if Berlanga is being trained by Memo too, let me see something real quick, man. I want to make sure. I got to fact check that. Because if he is, Canelo, if you're listening, you better run over to the snack program, Canelo. Go over there and call Victor Conti, Canelo. If you listen, somebody interpret this in Spanish. Send this to Canelo. Canelo Alvarez. Go on over to Victor Conti to the snack program. Now hear me out, Canelo. Now the snack program done lost several fights going up against Memo Heredia fighters, including when Benavidez beat Caleb Plant, who was on the snack program, and then David Benavidez beat Andre, who was on the snack program. So right now, Memo was undefeated against snack. All I'm saying is it'll be an even playing field, Canelo. Go on over there to the snack program if Berlanga's down, if Berlanga's is hanging around Memo. That's all I'm saying. Why not? Why not?